Hello, I'm Kylie Wright Ford. I'm the CEO of the RepTrak Company, and today we're here to talk about ESG and the rising focus on ESG initiatives. This is important for all companies to understand as expectations have risen and stakeholders of all kinds are demanding accountability around ESG initiatives. The financial markets are asking for more information from companies than ever, and it's a very interesting ecosystem. Companies every day ask us about the topic of ESG, and we're here to give you some tips on things we have observed to be working in building great brands, reputations, and ESG initiatives. I'm joined today by Brad Hecht and Ann Potts. They're specialists on reputation, brand, and ESG, and so they're going to share some of their tips today from their work with companies all around the world. Thank you for joining me and sharing actionable insights today. So let's chat first about Larry Fink's recent letter. It has become the must-read letter of the year and comes out in January. There were some pretty unequivocal quotes in the letter. One of them was, "No issue ranks higher than climate change on our clients' list of priorities." Do you sense that companies will rise to the challenge of having the climate change and climate at the center of their priorities, just like he's demanding? Or will there be a scramble, and how are people handling it inside companies? Brad, would you like to kick us off?
Yes, to both parts of the end of your question, which is the most successful companies literally embedded the environmental strategies and initiatives into their corporate strategy. And they've embedded it into comp plans, they've embedded it into individual goals, all the way across the company. But the problem is that those are still few and far between. But the first step, without question, is integrating the environmental and the sustainability groups and strategies into the larger corporate strategy. They need to have a seat at the table. And historically, it just hasn't been the case. They've kind of been the people over here that you either throw some money at or you ask them questions once a quarter. But the reality is, as you mentioned, now we've gone from the inside out to the outside in. And so these people now are becoming critical to the investment thesis of external institutional investors in the dialogue with the COO and the CEO and the rest. And so the bottom line is they must now be incorporated into larger corporate strategy as a way to maximize the return theory of investment community. But there's a long way to go with most of the companies that we work with.
And few companies, I think, are really just waking up to this. This has been a rallying cry for years, but it's just a matter of the level of focus. I think what's interesting is a company like VMware, a technology leader that has taken the effort to set goals against ESG priorities and then drive those goals, waterfall them intentionally through the organization. So it's not, the question that we always hear is it happening? Is it a board level conversation? Is it at the executive leadership team? At VMware, it's all the way down, which when we think about the spectrum of activity and the possibilities here, that's a high level of investment. But one would always also say it's a way to actually get it done because you're living it and it's a priority that's shared across the board, not something that you're hearing once in a while from the CEO or when the sustainability report comes out, or it's the environmental team's job and they're off in a corner somewhere.
Right, you've both alluded to that, and I think it's a great point around alignment. The sheer magnitude of the financial dollars going into ESG driven companies is really fascinating to me as someone who's watched markets for a very long time. And while it's not a new concept, we've been following corporate social responsibility for a very long time. It's an evolution, and the magnitude of it is something really to behold. So thank you for your comments.